Mr. Dunnet, thank you for having us here. So now Premier League is in Greece, and this time everybody is talking about the maritime cooperation between China and Greece, as well as China and Europe. So how do you see the future of the maritime cooperation?
If I look at something more tangible that we've dealt with here in our chamber, one of the bigger areas for, I think, maritime transport cooperation and improvements would be allowing European shipping lines to have a greater access within the Chinese market. Currently, European shipping lines, they're not allowed to transport goods from one European ship in China in a port to another European flagged ship in a port. It must transport them to a Chinese flagged vessel. But in this increasingly globalized world where China and the EU are each other's first and second biggest trading partners, we'd hope that the mechanism through which this trade is taking place can be done in one of the most efficient ways possible as well.
Yeah. Now that Premier League has finished his visit in the UK, and the two countries have signed various deals in terms of investment, but data from China's Ministry of Commerce shows that the investment coming from Europe since this year has been declining. So how do you see this phenomenon, and how do you see the future of the investment relationship between China and Europe?
As China's economy starts to slow down, I think it's obvious that you may see a decrease in investment as well. I think for a long time, China was the place to be, the place to invest. But quite frankly, as China develops and matures, companies are looking at other options and other emerging economies as well. So we actually ask that question as well. Do you plan to invest and move planned investments from China elsewhere? Most companies plan to stay here. 90% have said that they plan to keep any intended investments for China in China. But equally interesting, half of them said they are regularly reviewing planned investments in China. So even though there's no intention to move it now, what's planned for the future, they do review it regularly.
And speaking of the voices of the European companies, since the Chamber has been representing companies from European Union for quite a while, can you tell us how do they feel about doing business with China?
China is an extremely important market for European businesses. Nearly half of the members, our members here in China, generate 10% or more of their global revenue here in China. Every year we ask them the question, is China an increasingly strategic market for you? And they all say yes. The interesting part is the percentage that say that China is an increasingly strategic market decreases every year as well. So you see a certain climax to the importance of China relative to other potential markets as well.
Thank you very much.